How you doing, Ol? BarCast. BarCast. BarCast.
And a one, two, three, four. Welcome to the podcast. It is your hosts, me, Mark.
And me, Chris.
So obviously it is another glorious day. I'm always on time as always, never late.
He's always late, never on time.
Don't know when you are. You guys are seeing me now, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, no, it's the fourth to last episode
Yes.
of not only season 3 but of BarCast.
Mm.
But we're actually going to be sticking to some form of schedule today. So end of summer. Let's start with that. It's August. It's end of August. It's the 29th as recording. This will probably be uploaded, judging by my schedule this week, some point. Probably Wednesday night or tonight.
So obviously, it's the end. So a lot's happened over the summers. A lot happens over the years. I'm starting my new career in the next few, like in this autumn. So that's not going to be too bad. It's obviously I'm not going to say exactly what I'm doing, but I'm looking forward to it. It's a new adventure for me. I know where I'm placed. I've got training. I've even got a uniform ordered now, so obviously I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you're about 4 or 5 weeks away from starting.
Because when this gets done, basically in the next 2 months, basically, yeah. So I'll be starting my new career, and it's one that I've always wanted to get into, and I think the level that I'm joining at will be quite good, and basically I'll get to see, and I'll get a team, so that'd be brilliant to work with.
Yeah, because in your last job, you didn't really have much of a team.
No,
Well, you did until they took them away.
Yeah, I was told I had a team, and then it was like more independent work. So it was more like, yeah, you're a team, but you're not really going to be you're basically dealing with your own matters, so it won't too bad. But yeah, so that's good for me. I'm starting a new career, so instead of like doing like work left, right, and centre, my schedule's going to be completely messed up.
Yeah, that's going to be a little chaotic.
But to be honest,
I've
never known anything different, really. All my careers, I've never done 9 to 5. I don't know what they're like. I've always done weird hours, nights, days, everything. So I've always been it. So it'd be natural for me more to do this work, and it's just new training.
Yeah, and I've been in my job 3 months now. So
and he's been enjoying it. He seems much more happier nowadays.
Yeah, I'm a lot less stressed from the old job. Now things have been progressing in the right direction. I'm still working on a lot of things for myself. I've gotten to the point where I can now focus on my physical and mental health again, though. Like, I've been working on my mental health anyway, but I can actually focus on it too.
Well, but it is good because basically we are progressing in a ways. Me, I'm diving more into like some of the hobbies. Like there are some events that I'm going to miss. Just 'cause I need to work on sorting out myself. Basically, doing a purge of getting some of the stuff and moving more into like what I'm actually interested into now, instead of just what was making the time for the last few years. Because basically, it would be what can I do in this time instead of really investing myself into a hobby.
Exactly, because you had I'm doing this for this week, and then I'm working for a week. And then you're just like, and in that week, you had to make sure you had all your social aspects. You had to make sure you had enough time to do everything you need to do at home. And you weren't and if it was a rough week at work, you had to make sure you were able to rest enough.
Yeah, because no one wants a tired Mark through wherever he goes. I mean, to be fair, it's funny because sometimes it is a blunt Mark, and that's a funny Mark to work with when you see his personality completely change. It's this way out of proportion. It's a very serious Mark. My face will literally show it that I'll do so. Brilliant for working though, because it will get anything done. But yeah, and the smiling Mark's not the same.
No, they are like two completely different people. But yeah, no, I think that's a good start though.
Yeah.
What with things changing, we've also somehow fallen to the end of the Wano arc in One Piece.
Yes.
Like, we're actually going to be nerds for a little bit because this arc has been going on for a number of years.
Yeah,
Because it was on like episode. It was the late 800 episodes when they started Wano, and we're in the thousands now. Bearing in mind, there's only about 50 episodes a year tops. And that's about 4 years of content. And then there's the pandemic. This has clearly been going on about 4 or 5 years.
And to be honest, you think with this arc actually happened even before the previous arc, it was pretty much, well, Wano.
Yeah, Wano.
Two acts in.
It's been tying in the whole of the New World. They started the tie-in with the start of the New World in Punk Hazard.
So obviously, if anyone's not too sure, they're getting close to it. Obviously, it moves on from Big Mum's
spoiler warnings for One Piece if you haven't seen it.
So obviously, like Wano is a place.
It's a samurai place.
Yeah. So obviously, we have warned you in the way what we're going to talk about. It is a lot of information, a lot of backstory goes on there, and if you want to see like really character growth, sometimes it's not a bad place for people if they want to join into the One Piece. If you want to stay up to date, yes, come into it because it kind of will sum it up, and then at your leisure maybe watch from one up. But join at 1.0, and it's fair enough.
Yeah, or I think what would the best bet would be is if you don't want to watch all of it. Oda has said from a certain chapter you don't have to watch previous because it's all filler before this final arc is the real story.
Yeah.
But if you want to have the full backstory of every single character, read it because it will be a lot quicker. Because you can read a chapter in like 5 minutes instead of watching a 20-minute episode.
Yeah, because basically, if you think you could read a book within easily,
and it's essentially a manga, so it's like a comic.
Yeah,
so it's a lot easier to read,
and it sums it up more than animation per se. And it's basically how you're going to take the scenes. To be fair,
and it skips the filler episodes.
And honestly, I found reading it was better. However, the site that I used to use, I need to get a new one. I need to probably, if you send me the link or something on how you read it.
Yeah, valid.
Because mine's basically it's not either keeping up to date as much as it used to.
No, that's fair. But the arc, because I started watching One Piece when I was about 12 years old, so 15 years. So I literally started since after Marineford. Like what got me into One Piece was the AMVs they used to make of the Marineford arc, and obviously they were just in Fishman Islands when I caught up because I binge watched the first 500 episodes.
I remember watching it. I was a bit younger because I remember watching it when it was an English
Cartoon Network.
On Cartoon Network, which was 2002 or 2004.
2002.
And obviously I think they showed up to probably after the Arlong arc.
Arlong Park.
And then I think it kind of, they were just showing repeats. I don't think they were showing.
Yeah, because they got to Sanji with the lollipop, and then they would have done Arlong Park, and then they stopped the dub.
Yeah, but then obviously I got back into them reading it, and to be honest, when you read, you find out a lot more about the characters and what happened. Like you actually find out how someone's got this scar and how it makes sense, how it goes along.
Yeah,
because you never find out, at least not in the dubbed one. I don't know if they ever did it in the actual.
In the sub, they do story of Luffy. Like they've done like
they do one later on, don't they?
Yeah. AMVs or whatever they're called.
Oh yeah.
Like big episodes.
Yeah, the OVA. Yeah, OVA.
OVAs. That's
OVAs.
it.
Basically, like the little stories that tie it in and tell more.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically like the manga does, but it just blends so well into it.
Yeah, and it just gives you a bit more depth. Sometimes shows you things slightly differently. But One Piece is what got me into anime to start with. I think you would have thought Pokemon did, but no, because I didn't want to watch anything else but Pokemon. But then I watched One Piece, and then I started diving further in.
Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, it was interesting because Pokemon, a lot of times people got it, but it's more like the West side more than actually like the East, because obviously Dragon Balls used to get a lot, even though that's not really, it's more of a cartoon in that sense because of how it was made.
Yeah,
That got a lot of people into it,
true.
and recently, like you see Dragon Ball stuff everywhere. I think it's like Primark is doing a lot of stuff. That's the only reason why once I've been tempted to go in there because I've not really gone into a Primark to buy anything, but I was very tempted at one point when they started doing
Yeah,
some. I know.
but back to Wano. This arc, this whole freaking arc, like
Oh, it's
they
insane.
split it into 3 bits: a beginning, a middle, end. The beginning was them getting to Wano and Luffy's first big defeat in the New World, like
Yeah,
proper big defeat.
yeah, because obviously it's basically knocked into sense of like you can't mess around.
No, you can't just beat a Yonko because he's pissed you off. You need to prep. The middle arc was the planning stage. And then this final arc has been a visual wonder for most of it.
Oh
Like,
god,
ever
yeah.
the start of the raid on Onigashima,
Oh, it's just like
the
when all the
samurais.
ships come in and like how it was like it was the best. Like
The samurais banding together and going forward, like the Straw Hats showing to the samurais that they are such a good ally to have,
oh
because
god,
they were just like they just did that for giggles
mm.
because Zorro found booze over there. What useful allies to have. There's been good like brother moments between Chopper and Zorro.
Mm.
Sanji actually asking for help.
Yeah.
The whole Big Mom Kaido on the roof. The first punch Luffy lays on Kaido, and everyone's just like, "Fuck."
Basically it's setting the thing. It's like if you can imagine like going against a Titan, if anyone's seen Attack on Titan instead of One Piece. If you imagine when they first go against one of them, it's quite a statement.
It's
Of the
like
thing.
Levy against the Beast Titan.
Because what it is, like everyone thought, oh yeah, each one of like the Straw Hats can like take on a various thing. They're almost like a one man army, but obviously
Kaido is a
they had to think of a strategy, and you have to use each one. So basically, they were doing an operation that was going to build it up. It wasn't this like, right, Luffy, you're going in. It's like, no, you need to have everyone doing the various steps.
yeah.
Because you want to divide and conquer. I guess is the best way of doing it.
Yeah. And it's been such like yeah, I can see how some people have been a little iffy with One Piece, where some of the animations are like it's been a bit too flashy or a bit too slow, but at the same time, you have to think they're trying to show how big and important this is.
And it's great for the creative team because if they've been doing an art style for so long, they want to try out new things and they should be able to show it in their work that they love doing. Because if you think about from like episode 1 to like what you got now, the anime, yes, the art's changed and it's good because it's a really good growth on like each time it's
Exactly.
moved up.
And if Zoro's new look was in the old style, it wouldn't have worked.
No, not the same.
It's not the same. We've already sent a picture of it, and we're like, it doesn't quite work the same.
There's a few art styles where people have made it like,
Yeah.
and as everyone knows, it's very difficult actually doing animations of that context and that much detail.
Yeah. And then moving on to the manga, because the manga has finished the Wano arc with Luffy's. These are the bigger spoilers.
Yes. So obviously, this is your warning now. If you have not caught up on anything, please tune out for this segment at the moment.
Yeah. So obviously, we've had. The manga has just finished. They've left Wano. The new bounties have come through,
and they're very interesting.
They're so interesting. Like Luffy's got his new form, where he's awakened his fruit.
Which if you don't know, awakening is basically one of the most scariest things for anyone that's going to go against.
Yeah,
Devil Fruit User.
It's like unlocking an unrivaled power of the fruit.
I guess if you can imagine, if you've ever watched Bleach, like with the Bankai stuff, imagine that. But imagine it's more like Ichigo's hollow form actually coming out. It's kind of an extra boost.
Good way to do it. I was going to use Gon going full psycho.
Yes.
Or like it's not something you really want to go up against.
So yeah, basically, as you say. So if you've watched any of those two, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, or Dragon Force and Fairy Tail.
Yeah.
Like Natsu's Dragon Force. Like there's a few, but unlike those three, One Piece is people know of it, and it's expected to happen through a lot of training. Like Ichigo's hollow form coming out is an Ichigo only thing. Gon's Psycho is a Gon thing. Natsu's thing is a Natsu. Like they're all specific, but One Piece devil fruits are known to awaken. It's a known thing amongst users.
Yeah, and the thing is, there is a price to pay with like each and every item. So, with the likes of Devil Fruit, obviously, it halves the bane where you can't swim. And being a pirate at sea,
kind of a thing.
That's kind of like the major thing. Like
your ship goes down, you're going down with it. Good luck, mate. And then, obviously, you got the new Yonkos. So the Yonkos before were Big Mum, Kaido, Shanks, and Whitebeard. Whitebeard got subbed out for Blackbeard.
Yep.
Big Mum, I think, is now, I can't believe I'm saying it's Buggy.
Yeah. So
and Luffy's going to take Kaido, because Kaido wants to be Joy Boy, but Luffy's kind of Joy Boy.
Yeah.
Big spoiler. And
don't worry, if you don't know about it, it makes sense.
It will make sense. Read it. Or wait till you get there, because you're about 50 episodes behind.
Because originally there was only 4, and then basically when Luffy and all that...
Luffy kind of came the 5th, and now there's 4 again.
Because that was a big
And
event.
the 4th one is Buggy, and it's hilarious.
But to be fair, if you think about it, because Buggy never used to get too much attention for what he was doing, because when he took over a place, it was quite small. So he would like be like raiding the odd town and that, but he wasn't too well known. He had a bounty, but nothing abnormal, but he wasn't using his full ability to what he was, really. He thought he could do this, get away with the simple hit runs and attacking, but when he does put his mind to it, or when he does work in a team, he's actually very powerful in his way. And to be honest, if we don't properly know, I think his awakened form exactly, because obviously if you don't know, Buggy can actually split apart his body. If you stab him, you're not really gonna, he can basically split himself.
Yeah. I mean, there are ways to hurt him. But
basically you can take some of his things.
You smack him in the groin.
Yeah, or you basically like tie some of the body bits. So like when he formed backs together, it's quite funny because when they first were battling, basically they tied some of his body. That is like an
episode 10 spoiler. That's how early in the series Buggy's from.
And the thing is, everyone thought, Buggy's like side character and that, but no, throughout thing it builds quite nicely.
Yeah, Buggy has been a really fun repeat side character.
There's only one character out of the main lot that villains that was very sidetracked, and that was Don and Sanji's one.
Don Krieg.
Yeah, because pretty much
he's been defeated and he's not been back.
No, and like where he had a big
where all the others have been mentioned or appeared again.
Because you got
let's start with Buggy,
and then Ava.
Pirate, yeah.
The first one that basically they meet in like episode 1.
She's part of Buggy's crew. Then no, that's not true. You have the cat guy. However, Django is part of the Marines now, so technically, so yeah, Usopp's one.
He's quite funny when he joined the Marines.
Yes, Arlong has been mentioned again because he was part of Jinbei's crew.
Yes,
so we got Arlong's backstory, and we got Hachi back. Technically, we got Full Body from Sanji's arc.
Yeah.
Because he works with Django.
Yeah, because basically they worked as a team, similar basically like with Cody and that working. They were going along as their networks. They
work with Hino now.
Because that's the interesting thing, basically. You've got the various characters that make it you see their progress. And that's one good thing about the manga is the cover arts actually tell a story of some of the previous acts and the character, and even some in the future, how it builds up. Like you'll see certain characters come into it and see their story.
It fills in blanks. The cover story actually fills in Buggy getting his body back. The cover story explains what happened after the Whole Cake Island arc with Katakuri and Germa 66 or Germa 6. Like it's filled in, like. All the plot holes you think about, Oda's just like, I'll put it on the cover story. Like, what happened to Enel after Skypiea? He's explained that. Like, and the thing is, the cover stories are canon. And that's what I love about, like, apart from, like, the big group shot of the crew, but, like, when it goes story of so-and-so part 1, That's a canon story.
And the thing is, there's no words on it. It's just literally
No, it's
like
just a
art.
picture.
But basically, as a picture tells 1,000 words. And as I said, like with the Wano Act, it was like the development of how that was coming along was so vast. And when you see bits that trace back to like certain situations, it makes perfect sense why these groups all came and why they were in each area and various stuff. And later on, you're still developing and making the connections.
My favourite part near the end, though, was Shanks' appearance. Oh. And you actually got a glimpse of how powerful he is, because we haven't seen him do much.
The last time you would have saw him was a big war scene, which we won't say because we're not spoiling.
He basically threatened, like, go on then, fight us then, and everyone went, no. So, like, he's a threat, but this one, he just flexed one thing, one bit of his hacky, and it was just like, okay, this is the first person we've seen do this. That is, and this arc has been very heavy hacky, and this ability he showed off was just like, damn, son.
Because in reality, like Shanks is, where he is one of the youngsters that doesn't have a devil fruit, but we think he's got mastery control of all the hackies because he's been able to suppress so much, and even at a young age. I mean, hell, like Roger took most of the most talented people he could, but he had the axe for talent, not like just yet, but later on. Because obviously, Buggy and Shanks basically were two young lads.
Boys.
They weren't like fighters of the thing. I guess in one cast, like people know like pirates. I think they might have been what the powder monkeys, like delivering the gunpowder like, to the cannons and stuff like that. Not in this story, but if you could imagine that in like real life times, they would have been like the young ones that were basically running around delivering supplies.
But they did grow into fighters whilst on.
Crew. Oh yeah, that happens. Like you'll even in like history, like the more seen like you've been there, you'll grow into positions. Because like it's one of the best ways. I mean, it's like modern day, but no, with the things that I loved, it was just so funny when like Zoro went in and basically used his Conqueror's one, and it just shocked everyone. It's like Zoro just really didn't care about it, but he always had something early in the series.
I reckon it was early observation. Although they say out the three of them, they say. Zoro's got the best armament hacky. Sanji's got the best observation. And Luffy's got the best conquerors.
Yeah.
And understandably, Luffy's got the best conquerors. He is the captain and he's got the Will of D and blah, 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 blah. But it's just interesting to see.
But no, as we found like with most arcs and stuff like that, it was kind of like each character's glow up. So you kind of had like when everyone got split apart, Luffy kind of had his with like the training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This tends to, and then like the previous act, the cake art was pretty much Sanji's one, and kind of like Nami developing like getting
Zeus, yeah.
But then like this one is really being inspired and helped Zoro greatly. Because obviously they split apart a little bit.
Yeah, because Zoro was in Wano the whole time. Whereas Luffy went off to Whole Cake Island. But that Whole Cake Island helps Luffy with observation so much.
And basically, like, new allies. Because in theory, with, like, all the various...
Germa, Gang Capone.
And they learn of each one. Because the thing is, as well, you can be allied with people, but it doesn't mean you're friends. Yeah. You just basically got an enemy of my enemy and all that jazz.
And I think, secretly, Charlotte Katakuri will be an ally of Luffy. I reckon Katakuri is going to be like Whitebeard to Luffy, like Whitebeard and Roger, because they fought each other a lot and they respected each other.
Yeah, the thing is, I can see what you mean, but I also see that with like Kid and Law.
Yeah, I can sort of see it, but
I think it's because like the rivalry, like basically the rivalry that you can see like the 1 hour out between like the three when it came like near the end.
Yeah, but they sort of remind me more of Mihawk and Shanks than Whitebeard and Roger.
I guess so, yeah.
Because you got to think,
Because
Whitebeard
Roger
and Roger
loved-
fought each other.
And they loved fighting.
They loved fighting, which is more Luffy and Katakuri. They had so much fighting respect for each other, and they've got a similar style.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the first thing, actually.
Yeah.
But I think there'll be a lot more. I mean, the story is supposedly there's going to be another.
We're in the final big arc.
Yeah, which could be made up of small things like leading into it. Like, so it might not be like this A to B. It could be like
A to Z.
Yeah.
And to be fair, there's still a couple islands to go before the end.
And I think there's a lot of ground.
There's a lot of ground, and because of where they're going, they say it could be the final arc, but it could be the Marineford arc, which started at Sabadie Archipelago.
And the one thing as well is, there's still a lot of ground.
The Wano arc technically started at Punk Hazard.
Basically, they just took a break when they were basically in the other one. But no, I think it's this way they got way much to cover, and I have a feeling they'll probably have to cover this in a. So there'll be like I think One Piece will end, but I think there'll be other stories that spin off, or they'll do what they have done before and basically leave it up to your conclusion.
Exactly, yeah. But I feel like that's enough on that particular anime. So let's look at. I've had a brief look at what's coming up, and I grabbed the 3 I recognise the names of.
Yeah.
So, unsurprisingly, top of the list was in fall. We're getting season 6 of Boku no Hero Academia, which is going to be the start of the war, which is going to be the start of the end for Boku. I don't know if they're going to do the whole war because the war's not over yet. Because I'm reading it.
I think. If they're going to do the animated one, it could be where they basically do one part into it and then the next part after.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah, they've got. Actually, no, there's 2 wars left to animate, so this will be the first war. The first war, I reckon there's 3 seasons left of Boku. A war, the bit in the middle, and then the final war.
And then they can just do whatever side stories they want afterwards.
They might just end at season 8. I think 8 seasons is valid.
To be fair, most things do end. I think it was basically...
But they could do, the Vigilante series or things
that. Because they could do that, because they can split apart from the main person. Because, for example, one example was basically Fairy Tail ended, but the makers then made a story which was Eden's Garden, or
there's the 100 Years Quest series, which I did start reading, and then I lost my link to it, so I need to re-find it and restart it.
But yeah, it's basically quite an interesting thing. Obviously, another series that's basically getting a season 2 is Spy X Family,
which was just funny and adorable at the same time.
Now, if you guys want yes, the title in the thing may seem, and it might put a lot of people off, but honestly, it's quite a good read, quite a good watch.
It's very wholesome, actually.
And yes, with the Hive of the spy thing, that is still involved. It's heavily implied, and it's got a mysteries, and you don't know where it's going, but it's very well made.
It's very comical. The 3 main characters are just superb. I've enjoyed some of the side characters as well. Season 1 hooked me, and it starts again on the 2nd of September, I believe. So that's next week.
Friday.
It's Friday. So yeah, happy days for that. The final one, I don't know a lot about this one, but I've heard good things, is Mob Psycho.
So Mob Psycho is quite a interesting one. It's one that I've been meaning to read or watch, but I can't remember the studio, but it's an interesting one. Basically, people have got powers, and it's funny.
Yeah, and it's based on this kid called Mob.
Yeah,
who's got
he's basically
latent. He's got latent abilities, and if he gets too stressed, he explodes, sort of thing. His power levels go through the roof.
Basically, if he gets pushed to a level, he has a major power burst, but he's also got the abilities for, obviously with Mob being in it as well, he's a mob character, and there's quite a few actually. mangas and ones that some of the best stories are based on like mob characters because they're not the overlord hero. They don't always want to be, but they are. And like one of the scenes is basically he joins because obviously it starts off where they're in a school basically, and there's like various stuff going on, and there's like a athletes group that he basically joins.
Yeah, you'd think he joined like the supernatural group, but he doesn't. He joins the athletics group, and it's a really bunch of like muscly guys, but they're so wholesome,
They're very
and they're
supportive.
just like, "You can do it, man!" Yeah.
And the thing is, they actually come into like some of the combat thing, and they come in because he's like, even though he's not good at anything what he's doing, but because he's always going in, it's the determination. It's always showing the spirit to go in, and it was really uplifting because basically they were coming in, and it wasn't like a normal like school fight. This was actually quite a baddie coming in.
Yeah,
but yeah, some of the side characters as well are funny, very funny from what I've seen, like the snippets of. But it's hard keeping track of everything. It's like trying to keep up with like Goblin Slayer and all of that. Right, if anyone's watching, the first anime thing is dark of the Goblin Slayer, but basically, once you get past that, the story is very good, and there is a season 2 of that. I think that's already out, or they are working on doing more of it. And you've got stories that happen before and after, and it's quite good. That's one to definitely watch. I have to admit that now because it's a very good series. But we move on to a new topic.
Yeah, so I've got no notes on this one. It just says new games. Do you have any new games coming up?
So, new games indeed. Basically, under one game that, yes, there are faults with it, but hopefully they can work on it, and I very much enjoyed it. And that was the new Saints Row that only came out on Tuesday. And it's basically the reboot of the series. So whereas they had 1, 2, 3, 4, and Get Out of Hell, they saw what they did. People preferred the 1 and 2 because it did start off a good story. Now the reboot mixed a lot of people because they were expecting it to be like what the GTA and what the old ones like. But no, this is bringing in a more interesting thing, bringing in some wacky sides, but then also some sides of you could believe this is building up, but still be a fun game. Now, open world games are getting ridiculous with some things. It's people are expecting a lot jammed in, but then that can have effect on devices, that can affect on there's too much to do, which puts people off. This game does have the right balance, and they are said they're going to be working on supporting more in future content. I've loved the story. I honestly have. I basically could have finished it a couple of days ago, but I've chosen not to. I've chosen to delay it because I like how the story's gone. The customization's fun. The story is actually quite good, and you do feel an achievement, and you'll get a lot of the jokes because it has a bit of like millennial humor in of like you're starting up to try and pay basically rent, and basically you start off from the bottom of the crime to like forming your own and how it goes about. Obviously, other new games as well is I've gone into older ones that have come out. So obviously we are doing more with potentially Minecrafting.
Yeah.
So this is because I know I can talk about games.
This is 2 topics then.
This is 2 topics that I'm bringing. At the moment, though, that other topic we'll discuss a little bit further. But obviously, me and Chris have come up with like new building things and how we thinking of doing stuff. And obviously, with the updates and stuff, we're thinking, we can do this and that.
Yeah. This is going to be news to our Discord server as well, the Barcrafters. From next month, we are resetting the Barcraft world. Basically, Mark and I have got a couple of things going on Minecraft-wise. In fact, I got a lot of things Minecraft-wise that I could potentially be having going on. So, but let's start off with the main thing. Barcraft Season 3 is coming to an end, and this is the end of our SMP series. We're not going to do another SMP straight away. We are, however, having a Season 4 of Barcraft, but this time it's going to be a CMP, a creative multiplayer world. Simply because a lot of our players get unmotivated to continue playing because they have to spend all their time resource gathering or making farms and things. So, right, okay, we will cut that out and we're going to have a creative multiplayer world.
Yeah.
Now, they know this, they've been told this in advance, and they also know they have to earn their creative multiplayer pass.
Mm.
Mark has to, I have to, everyone in the server
Fine,
is going to have to earn it.
We'll probably go first.
We're going to try and do it all together.
But we'll probably be like, if it's the first one, unless anyone else runs in front, we'll probably be the ones to try and lead it. If anyone,
We'll be the first ones leading it.
yeah. Doesn't mean
but-
like they won't surpass us.
Exactly, yeah. The thing is, though, what they don't know is the other server host, the person who actually owns the server, is making a parkour course that every member has to get through before they get their creative rights. We'll probably put in, like, if you can't do it in so many attempts or so many hours per se.
We're not monsters.
We're not monsters. We appreciate. We want people to join, but we also want people to earn it. So X amount of failures, but they have to be genuine tried failures, not just like, oh, I died again sort of thing. Thing is, though, this parkour course isn't like normal ones where they're like miles off the sky, so if you fall, you die instantly. It's in the deep dark. So this parkour course, you have to get through the deep dark, and yes, wardens can be summoned whilst we're doing it.
Which they will.
Which they will, because Mark will make sure of that, because he's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's going to be something for next month.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be towards the second half of next month. We haven't fully decided a date yet. I'll probably stream until I've done it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give up.
No, and one thing as well is obviously, as we've said, with the podcast like itself will like the ending. Our channel won't be. Our actual content of our YouTube, our bar chats will still be going on. We will, because we're not going to be closing that as we agreed on.
Yeah. Sorry, repeat that. My brain's just gone.
So obviously letting people know, obviously, where we might be ending this doesn't mean we'll end like the talking as such. We're
still going to have YouTube content,
and we'll still do like maybe like some of the stuff we did talk about.
It's just not streaming. I wasn't actually going to bring that up this stream.
Oh no! I was only letting people know, because where we mentioned at the start, obviously this was like episode like 4 of like the thing, because we already mentioned
4th to last.
So basically, just letting people know, don't be afraid.
Yeah, they know. I've posted it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Any other games?
So yeah, going back to the bit of games, I've gone actually for some old ones like Red Solis Ryu Command Squad. So actually looking at the new Dark Tide Warhammer, where you basically play as a prisoner, joining the Inquisition and basically fighting the swarms of chaos. And what's quite good is you are basically a prisoner reject, but you may earn your justification by being sent down and like fighting in the like darkest pits, and they'll comment on it, and you basically play as the guardsman, or and you build up, do better, and it will be quite an interesting game. That launches very soon. I think that launches this either October or this actual September, and that will be a nice one. New games that are coming out next year are going to be quite a few big titles. You've got Hogwarts Legacy.
Not getting it.
I don't blame you. It's only on like so many things now, and it's interesting how they're doing it, and who's not actually involved in it. Because obviously, where you'd think someone would be involved, they're not at all.
They're still getting paid for it.
Yeah, they have to, because obviously with the
No, they don't.
But it's similar what happened with the Witcher.
I don't know enough details about that to put a judgment on it. Anyway, what else is next? The new Pokemon, Scarlet and Violet,
which is very
either
interesting.
End of this year or start of next year. Not actually sure, but yeah, the main legendaries are motorbikes.
Yes, and
I'm not sure if I like Fuecoco. I'm in love with the Firecroc. I'm having that. That is my starter. I have decided Fuecoco.
But also, the other thing is, depending on which game you chooses, is what professor you get.
Yeah, do you want the hot guy or the hot woman?
Which is very bizarre because before you would have thought that would have been a choice in like both of them. But obviously, there is stuff that we don't know, and we're not going to know until obviously we play it.
Exactly, and knowing me, I'll have it completed by the end of the day. I get it.
Probably, yeah, because it's one of those games.
I don't stream no Pokemon games, by the way. I don't stream from my Switch.
No, there are games basically that if you like, they don't always make it a work and a hobby because you can kind of spoil the joys of doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got new stuff which I'm like new painting. Like, believe it or not, I'm either going to go into Warhammer again after many years, and there's a new Kill Team box that's launching because whereas Warhammer was always big conflicts, it's like a miniature. I prefer more like the skirmish ones, and because you can make some really good stories out of it, you can do some arcs, and they've got a new one which is basically exploring inside of a ship. Yeah. And obviously they call it like Space Hulks, which are basically these ships that have merged into the warp, and there's a lot of baddies, a lot of relics to find. And they're introducing the Imperial Breaches, which obviously is like their navy force that go into like these relics. And you've got the Kroot, which are part of the Towers, which are very interesting aliens because basically what they eat can enhance their powers. So if they were to eat something that had like more birds in, their DNA structure will like actually develop wings. So they were basically two groups. The Kroot have always been interested in, and the Imperial things actually look pretty sweet. However, I will change them that they're not actually Imperials, they're just mercenaries. But that is in tabletop. There is more games to talk about, but I will probably post that more on my Twitter or the BarCast Twitter.
Yeah, Viking Cats on Twitter. Just shameless little plug there. Speaking, that's technically like upcoming content for you. You're going to be posting more about games and stuff again. For me, I've had no motivation for any hobbies this summer. Like before the summer started, like, yeah, I'm going to do YouTube videos. And then the summer happened. I was just like, I'm not actually in the mental space for it. However, coming up for me, I have 3 original songs that need record. No, one is vocally recorded, needs a video recording, and that I need to work on myself before I'm ready to record that, and I need to make a storyboard of what I want the video to be. Like that needs a lot of work, and that one's gonna take a while for me to come out because that needs a lot of personal work. And then I got 2 other songs. One which, without context, may seem really weird for some people because it's a lot of in jokes between me and my singing teacher because of what it's about. And then like other students at the school, like other students of my singing teacher will get it. And it's just it's a very niche group of people I've aimed this song at. And then the other one is something I can record myself properly. I've just not been in the mental headspace to record it, but I'm hoping once I get back to my singing lessons, not this Friday, but the Friday after, I'm going to be singing more again. I'm not going to be writing any more originals for a little while.
Taking a break is always a good thing.
Because I've got covers I want to finish.
And it's fair enough. You don't want a backlog because
I have a backlog of like 5 songs at the minute, and I need to just like one is a troll song, one is a laugh, one is a male cover of a female song, and one is very low, and then the other ones are originals. So I've actually got a 7-song backlog right now.
So as you can see, we are working on our hobbies, and to be honest, didn't really help with a heat wave coming through.
No, I don't do well in heat.
But yeah, but speaking of heat, there is something that is coming up, and my boy is excited for it.
I'm very excited for it.
I will let him talk about this.
So obviously we've had the pandemic for the past 2 years. And over the past couple of years, I have been stressed. I have been unhappy. I've not been in a mentally good place. And I've sort of felt trapped as well. And next month, for the first time in about a decade, I'm going to Spain. So in October, I go to Spain, and it's going to be glorious. I don't care if it rains every day, because I will still be in the swimming pool or on the beach.
To be honest, swimming in the swimming pool when it rains is the best feeling.
But I'm going on my own.
Mm.
Because I like going on holiday on my own. I'm going to a part of Spain I know really well, because I've been there 6 times. But it was always with parents, and now this time, as I'm going on my own, I can do what I like.
So I expect to see wanted posters come up and be like, "Have you seen this guy?
Have you seen this?" Like, I know in the middle of the week I'll be going to the Wednesday market. I know on the Thursday night I'll be going to my favourite restaurant to end the holiday. My favourite shop is there. There's a really nice super mall. There's a Buddhist temple which I need to go to.
Ooh.
Which I will have to figure out how to get there. I might be able to book a taxi from the hotel.
Talk to a local. If you talk, at your hotel, probably the receptionist would be really good for that, because if they don't know how, they'll know someone that will. So they'll point you in the right direction. Because when I used to study travel and tourism, it used to be the best thing is basically you talk to the receptionist, because no one thinks about that. Because obviously where people go on holiday, they think of like reps and stuff. But yeah, if you talk to like the staff, they can recommend some of the best things ever.
There's a really nice aqua park down there, which I never got to go to. But yeah. No. So we're going to be wrapping up the podcast shortly. We're nearly done.
But yeah. So basically, there is a lot going on. So basically, in the time that Chris is going into his holiday, I'm obviously starting my new career. So we actually do have a lot going on in theory. Like, we're actually going to be. I'm going to be busy because I'm training, and I'm also going to be training when I'm doing the stuff. I'm not doing like all of this thing and then going into it. No, I'm going to do like the intro and then go in. So it's the best for me because I learn better going into it.
Yeah. And also in October is going to be the next episode, the third to last episode.
Dun, dun, dun.
We don't know when it's going to be released because it all depends on Mark's new schedule, which I'm hoping when he gets his rota, he's going to give it to me so I can plan. Because I am like his planner.
Yes.
Like Scott's my manager, I'm your manager.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's going to be the Halloween special. It's returning for the 3rd year. Yeah, we're hoping, we haven't asked yet, but we're hoping to have a repeat of the past 2 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is us for the episode.
Indeed.
So it's my usual sign off, isn't it? So have a drink, have a laugh. We love you from the bottom of our guts. Until next time, Tati, bye.
Just a couple of guys chatting over a brew. Won't tell you no lies, it's